morning, most prestigious event, that is Associate Maharashtra MSME Sammelan. Ladies and gentlemen, give a huge round of applause for our honorable chief guest, Shri Narayan Tatu Raneji. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. To start this beautiful morning, I request everybody to please have a wider smile on your faces. Can I see some smiles on your faces? And a huge round of applause for your own self for being a part of this beautiful morning. All right. Now I request our chairman, Shri Vinod Pandeyji, Associate National Council on Global Value Chain and Director, Government Affairs and External Affairs, BMW India, to please felicitate our honorable chief guest on the stage. Well, before that, we would definitely do the lamp lightening because our chief guest is here, and under the presence, sir, I would request you to please start and begin this day with the lamp lightening ceremony, sir, under your presence. May I please request Shri Suhail Nathani, our chairman, Shri Joyjit Gupta, Senior Vice President, Shri Siva Subramanian Raman, CMD Small Industries Development Bank of India, and Shri Shantanu Bhadkamkar, our chairman, to please join for the lamp lightning ceremony before we start this beautiful day. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause once again. We are starting this day. Now may I please request our chairman at Associate National Council on Global Value Chain and Director, Shri Vinod Pandeyji, to please felicitate our Honorable Minister, Shri Tatu Raneji. Now, may I please request our chairman to do the honors to our chief guest. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your presence. And now I would request Shri Sohail Nathani, our chairman, Associate WTO Trade and Investment. Ladies and gentlemen, I request our chairman to start with a beautiful morning for Associate Shri Vinod Pandeyji to be on the dais.
Hello, yes. Adarniya Shri Narayan Raneji, Honorable Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Minister, Government of India, distinguished colleagues from Associate and Industry, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the Maharashtra MSME Sammelan under the theme of Building Competitiveness for Global Value Chain. ASSOCHAM has always championed the cause of MSME sector and today's event is a clear testament to its commitment to drive MSME's growth agenda, support capability development, and also facilitate its integration into the global value chain. MSMEs play a key role in economic development. Globally, the sector accounts for over 80% of businesses and contributes to more than half of the employment. The share of the formal MSME sector to the GDP is up to 40% in the emerging economies. The importance of this sector in India's economic growth cannot be overemphasized. The presence of over 63 million MSMEs employing over 110 million people staggered across the services, trade and manufacturing sector contribute nearly 30% to our nation's GDP. Maharashtra has an estimated 48 lakh MSMEs, which takes about 8% share of the total MSMEs in the country. The ambitious target of $5 trillion economy with 25% contribution coming from the manufacturing sector will require the MSME sector to play a very pivotal role. Indian government has taken various initiatives for facilitating MSMEs with timely announcement of schemes to support its development. Ramping up the investments in this sector will be crucial. That is why the focus has been further emphasized in the Union Budget FY 22-23 with an outlay of over 21,000 crores. The government launched the Champions Portal to help MSMEs by providing one-stop solution to address their concerns and offer support, necessary guidance on various aspects of trade to help them scale up. In August 2021, Ubharte Sitare Fund was introduced, providing structured support comprising financial and advisory services to high potential companies. With a clear focus to boost the exports, many measures have already been taken. 52 export facilitation centers for providing the mentoring and support MSMEs to need to export their goods and services overseas, establishment of over 102 enterprise development centers with the objective of creating a network of entrepreneur leaders, launching B2B portal, which is MSME Mart, a one-stop digital solution for facilitating online marketing and improving MSME's global competitiveness. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate the Maharashtra state government for supporting the expansion of MSMEs through several initiatives. These include credit and financial aid, skill development training, infrastructure advancement, marketing subsidy, technology and quality upgrade, etc. I would like to draw your kind attention to the success of German SMEs. It offers an excellent insight into realizing the global ambition. The SME sector in Germany has produced what we call the hidden champions. These companies are among the top 3 in the world in their chosen field, with major global market share, highly specialized product and services, and strong export performance. The aspiration of the Indian MSME sector to be globally competitive would demand unequivocal focus on productivity enhancement, world-class quality standards, innovation promotion, and leveraging advanced technology, digitalization, Industry 4.0 to drive operational excellence. With the new geopolitical developments, many nations are diversifying their supply chain under the China Plus One strategy. And India should leverage this opportunity with its large MSME ecosystem. I firmly believe that the sector is destined to play an increasingly important role as the backbone of India's economic success. It will also drive inclusive growth through industrial development in rural areas, use of traditional skills, and above all, providing new employment opportunity to millions of workers. Today's conference has many thematic and focus sessions, and this will provide an excellent opportunity to share knowledge and exchange learning on various aspects of MSME ecosystem. It will provide insights that can be integrated into our decision making and action. I wish more power and prosperity to the MSME sector. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such a detailed and enlightening speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I request our chairman at ASSOCHAM WTO Trade and Investment Council and managing partner ELP, Shri Sohail Nathani, to please be on the dais. Huge round of applause, please.
Thank you. आदरणीय मंत्रीजी आमच्या महाराष्ट्राच्या मंत्री आहेत. Very happy to have him here today to be at this function. Thank you to all the dignitaries on the dais and to ASSOCHAM for hosting this function. Vinod, thank you for giving such a good outline for what MSMEs mean to the economy and more importantly what they can do. It is a very, very critical time in the juncture of global trade. WTO, which was the cornerstone of India's international trade policy, is not functioning as well as we would like it to function. So we have FTAs that are coming up in a big way. And the fact of FTAs, and I was with the Honorable Commerce Minister in Delhi at the Board of Trade a few days ago, and there is this reality that when you are negotiating FTAs, there is some give and take. And very often, because MSMEs are not vocal enough, it is very difficult to get their voice heard and them to be part of that FTA. But the biggest export opportunity is under the FTA. The biggest threat to SME is also under the FTA. And that is why collectively we need to apply our minds to see how MSMEs can take advantage of the negotiations and the facilities that the government of India is providing. What is very, very important is that every FTA now that India is negotiating has a chapter on MSMEs. It talks about information, it talks about classification, and eventually it will talk about preferential market access. And that is where MSMEs need to be very, very active as part of this process. These FTAs, once negotiated, don't get reviewed often. So they are then there for many, many years. So it's very important that MSMEs participate now, identify the sectors both which are threats and opportunities so that we can make the most of this FTA engagement for MSMEs. One other point I'd like to make, we are in Maharashtra today. Mantri pan amcha Maharashtracha hai. Narayan Sahib, tumi Maharashtracha mantri hai. MSME is very, very important for our state. It is the backbone of job creation. Government of Maharashtra, in conjunction with the center, has taken many, many steps for giving benefits to MSMEs within the state of Maharashtra. But as all people are involved with industry, I must also say that MSMEs in Maharashtra have to step up and the government policies need to be more forward-looking. I don't want to compare with other states, but the growth of Maharashtra will come from MSMEs, and collectively everybody in the room with the good wishes and guidance of Sri Rane will hopefully make that a reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nathani. Proceeding forward, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite our Senior Vice President at Regional Business Head, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Shri Joyjeet Gupta on the dais, please. Give a huge round of applause.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Honorable Union Minister Narayan Raneji, the respected dignitaries, okay, and ladies and gentlemen. I think Vinod very rightly pointed out to the growth of MSME, okay, for the overall India as a country. How many of you agree with me that we are talking to a group of nation builders over here? They are the actual nation builders for us as a country. If I give you an perspective, today India at 4.8 crore MSME is only next to China at 5 crore. And I would like to thank the government for its initiatives which has actually made it possible. As a banker, I can tell you the way credit offtake is happening. And again, thanks to Sandeep and the entire CGTMSC team, the way it has ensure that every single bank is moving out and doing its credit offtake under CGT-MSE, is ensuring that the entire micro MSME sectors is pulling up in a very, very big way. If you ask me today, almost 45% of manufacturing and 40% of services is contributed by MSME. I will try to quickly point it out of what exactly MSMEs are missing out in today's scenario. A lot of MSMEs today are actually supplying to the large corporate, and they are not able to build their turnover over a point of time because lack of credit. A lot of them are not aware that if they are supplying to a large corporate, they can go for channel financing. They don't need any collateral for it. They don't need any guarantee for it. They can directly approach their bankers and can avail a channel financing for all their funding requirement. They are not aware that today the banks, including Kotak Mahindra Bank, are able to finance, micro MSMEs into a lot of hybrid model where they can get financing at up to 20% of their collateral value. So today, on behalf of Kotak Mahindra Bank, I want to assure every single person present over here that no micro MSME or MSME in Maharashtra, particularly will have any challenge as far as their credit growth is concerned, and we will work very, very closely with it. This is my third association in terms of MSME is concerned. We had done sessions with all the traders associations. We have done with the manufacturers associations, and with ASOCHEM, this is our third association. I want to commit to Vinod that every single initiative which Vinod and Sushil will take, Kotak will be a part of that journey, and will continue to support the government for its initiatives in order to support the MSMEs. I was with Vinod in the last meeting from SIDBI, and he committed that they will continue to work very, very closely with all the private banks in terms of ensuring that the credit offtake happens in a very, very smooth way. So once again, on behalf of Kotak Mahindra Bank, I want to assure all of you present over here that we will be a support in this journey, and we will be a proud partner of India's growth into become the biggest MSME market. And I am sure with support from Honorable Union Minister Sri Narayan Rane ji, we will overtake China in this financial year only, and will become the biggest MSME market. And believe me, then only we will be able to address the huge issue of unemployment in the Indian overall country as a whole. So thanks a lot to all of you, and I am sure each one of us will work very closely to take this journey forward. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Proceeding forward, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now invite our CMD Small Industries Development Bank of India, Shri Siva Subramanian Raman, on the dais, please. A huge round of applause for him.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Union Minister for MSME, Shri Narayan Rane ji, distinguished guests on the dais and delegates of the dais. It is indeed my pleasure to be here in the presence of the Minister. I thank the ASOCHAM for inviting me here today. Many of you may not be aware that the MSME Ministry has been re-energized by the presence of our respected Minister. Just 2 days ago, the Honorable Minister had called for a second meeting within 4 months of what is known as the National Board for MSME. You may not be aware that in the past, these meetings were held very infrequently. In fact, the last meeting was held 4 years ago. Minister had already announced a date for the next meeting to be held in January. I'm only mentioning this to convey to all of you how the Ministry of MSME has once again put its force behind the development of MSMEs. We are very grateful to the Minister for having initiated several schemes in the recent past. You may not be aware that there is a program under the World Bank assistance called RAMP, R-A-M-P, under which the ministry is creating several different schemes for the benefit of the MSME. SIDBI, being its primary role as assisting the MSME sector, works very closely with the Ministry of MSME. There are several schemes that we run for the ministry, and I am once again extremely grateful to the minister. Under his leadership, SIDBI is working with the MSME ministry for the purpose of creating informal MSME into formal MSME units. All of you must be aware how important Udyam number has become today. The numbers of MSMEs 5 years ago was 6.3 crores. Today, we don't have a count, but it probably is touching 9 crore MSMEs. Out of these 9 crore MSMEs, only 1.5 crore MSMEs are under GST. The remaining MSMEs are also in the need of finance from the banks, from NBFCs. Many of these the MSMEs are not given any importance by banks because they don't have Udyam number. Today, you must be aware that Udyam number is the reason why banks come forward to help MSMEs, because it can be then categorized as a priority sector loan. In order to bridge this gap, the minister has provided the leadership. Today, SIDBI is working with all the microfinance institutions, with all the other small NBFCs, where they have given loans to small business entities using that data, using the data of PM Swanidhi, using the data of CGTMSC and NCGTC. SIDBI has access to more than 5 crore MSME entities. These entities will now be pushed through a special digital program that we are setting up with the ministry, where we intend to provide Udyam number to more than 5 crore entities in the next 2 years. It's a very ambitious plan that the minister has laid out for us, and I'm sure SIDBI, along with the help of MFIs, NBFCs and banks, we will be able to increase the number of Udyam registrations in the country. I just want to say a couple of things. SIDBI today has created a special experience and ability and competence to give money for greenfield projects. This is something that SIDBI has done for 30 years. Many banks, in fact, look at those projects which are financed by SIDBI and then provide additional assistance to units that have already been set up with the help of SIDBI. SIDBI is continuing to help greenfield projects. Maharashtra has immense scope. Maharashtra has got 3.5 lakh crore funding from the banking system for MSMEs. As you might know, MSME finance today is about 22 lakh crores in the country, of which 3.5 lakh crores is in Maharashtra. There is still more scope. There is scope to double 3.5 lakh crores in Maharashtra, and we hope that we all together, through the partnerships that we must create, we must go forward and make Maharashtra that much more viable. This is an all-India attempt. This is an all-India national priority that MSMEs must be given access to credit. But along that, the payment to MSMEs is a very big problem. And that is something which has engaged the attention of the Honorable Minister, of the Ministry, and therefore it is possible for digital data to be once again used. As you know, all companies have to report to the MCA what is the position of their payment to MSMEs. This is a mandatory form. It is submitted every 6 months. Now, there is a easy way of checking whether the forms, whether the compliance submitted by the companies to the MCA portal, that can be cross-checked with the unpaid invoices which MSMEs are today filing with many fintechs. In fact, we should all be very happy that the way fintechs have come forward. Fintechs today are collecting from MSMEs information of unpaid invoices so that they are creating a database in which MSMEs know that a particular large company is not a good paymaster. A large company is taking 270 days to make payment, whereas other companies are making payments within 60 days. This kind of information is now being made available. Therefore, SIDBI is working with the ministry on innovative ways to help the delayed payment issue. I will not come between yourselves and the Honorable Minister. We are eagerly looking forward to his speech. But it is just to assure all of you that even today, SIDBI offers interest rates which are the lowest in the market to the MSMEs. And therefore, I invite all of you to write to SIDBI, write to me. I am at cmd@sidbi.in. Kindly let me know what are the problems you are facing, and we are there to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Raman. That was a detailed speech. Ladies and gentlemen, to increase the grace and charm of the stage, it is my privilege to invite our Honorable Minister Shri Narayan Taturaneji on this dais to please have some words for us, sir.
महाराष्ट्र एमएसएमई सम्मेलन या एसोचैम के माध्यम से आयोजित किया गया है। इस कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित सुहेल नथानी जी, चेयरमैन विनोद पांडे जी, सम्मानीय जॉयजीत गुप्ता जी, शिवा सुब्रमण्यम जी, आदरणीय शंतनु बड़कमकर, आदरणीय दीपाशु शौकीन, आदरणीय दीपक सूद, सेक्रेटरी जनरल, जनरल सेक्रेटरी, उपस्थित सभी उद्योजक, एसोसिएशन के सभी मेंबर, या उपस्थित काफी एक्सपर्ट लोग भी हैं विविध क्षेत्र के, और अन्य मान्यवर भाई और बहनों और दोस्तों, मुझे आज बहुत खुशी है कि आपका एसोसिएशन के माध्यम से, चैम्बर के माध्यम से एमएसएमई को आप योगदान जो दे रहे हैं, और आपने जो फिगर कही कि जीडीपी में 30% आज एमएसएमई के माध्यम से हम हैं देश के जीडीपी में, मैं ऐसा मानता हूं ये 30% जो है एमएसएमई का नाम लेते हैं, आप जैसे चैम्बर का योगदान के वजह से ही हम यहाँ तक पहुंचे हैं, ऐसी मेरी भावना है, मेरे विचार है। आज ये मैं कार्यक्रम लिया हूँ, काफी कार्यक्रम थे, अभी इसके बाद भी है। फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर देश की मुंबई आ रही है दोपहर को, वो भी कार्यक्रम है। आपकी संस्था 1920 को इसकी स्थापना हुई, 92 साल आपके इस संस्था को है। इस संस्था ने जो काम किया है इंडस्ट्री के लिए, एमएसएमई के लिए, वो देखते हुए आप सभी का शुक्रिया अदा करने के लिए मैं यहाँ मुख्यतः आया हूं। फ्यूचर में जैसे हमारे गुप्ता जी ने कहा कि चीन में इंडस्ट्री में जो ग्रोथ हुई, एमएसएमई क्षेत्र की जो ग्रोथ हुई, उन्होंने जो टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से उत्पादन बढ़ाया है, बाय प्रोडक्ट बढ़ाया है, अपग्रेडेशन किया है, हम भारत भी उसी तरह दुनिया की लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी लेकर एमएसएमई हमारे उद्योजक तक ट्रेनिंग सेंटर के माध्यम से पहुंचाएंगे। हमारे उद्योजक ऐसे तैयार करना हम चाहते हैं कि हमारा जो एक्सपोर्ट है वो एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ना चाहिए और इंपोर्ट कम होना चाहिए, ये हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो हमारे उद्योजक को लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी, उसके लगने वाली मशीनरी, उन्हें लगने वाला इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोवाइड करके हम उद्योजक बनाना चाहते हैं, प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, वैल्यू एडेड प्रोडक्ट बनाना चाहते हैं, और एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ाने के बाद, जीडीपी बढ़ने के बाद, हमारे पंतप्रधान मोदी जी चाहते हैं कि भारत आत्मनिर्भर बने। भारत आत्मनिर्भर बनना चाहिए तो इंडस्ट्री की ग्रोथ होनी चाहिए। आज 6 करोड़ जो माइक्रो इंडस्ट्री है वो डबल होना चाहिए 5 साल में, 5 साल में। और इस कोशिश में हम प्लान कर रहे हैं, और ये प्लान में मैं अभी आपके प्रेसिडेंट से भी कहा कि हमें आपके साथ बैठना है। आपके पास जो एक्सपर्ट है उनका मार्गदर्शन हमें लेना है कि हम भारत में इंडस्ट्री कैसे बढ़ा सकते हैं, महाराष्ट्र में कैसे बढ़ा सकते हैं, और कौन सी टाइप की इंडस्ट्री चलेंगी, और उसके लिए हमें क्या करना होगा। ये जो हम प्लान करने जा रहे हैं उसमें आप लोग का मार्गदर्शन चाहिए, इसलिए हम बैठना चाहते हैं, इसलिए बैठना चाहिए। महाराष्ट्र देश में एक प्रगत राज्य है। हमारे नातानी साहब मेरे बगल में बैठे मराठी में बात कर रहे थे, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। खाली महाराष्ट्र के इंडस्ट्री में वो योगदान देते, इतनी बात नहीं है कि मराठी सीखकर मराठी के ऊपर का प्रेम भी व्यक्त हुए यहाँ करते हैं। बहुत अच्छी बात है, बहुत अच्छी। और इसलिए आपकी लगन हमारे इंडस्ट्री में, महाराष्ट्र की ग्रोथ इंडस्ट्री में काफी हुई। देश में बाकी के राज्य से महाराष्ट्र आगे चल रहा है, मगर अभी गुजरात भी चल रहा है, तमिलनाडु भी चल रहा है। तो महाराष्ट्र का चैम्बर का एक काम इससे ज्यादा है कि महाराष्ट्र जैसे पहले नंबर पे था उसी तरह रहना चाहिए। तो कौन सी इंडस्ट्री लाना है, कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी लाना है, और वो हमारे उद्योजक के पास किस तरह से पहुंचाना है, और उसको लगने वाली मदद एमएसएमई भारत सरकार का विभाग हम योगदान साहब देंगे। आपने जो रामन जी साहब, आपने जो प्रश्न उदी मीटिंग में भी रखा, बोर्ड मीटिंग में आज भी आपने रखा, वो दोनों प्रश्न मैं सीरियसली लिया हूं, और जल्दी से जल्दी देश के फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर और पीएम साहब के सामने मैं लेके जाऊंगा। और मैं ये भी प्रॉमिस करूंगा कि 11 जनवरी जो मीटिंग उसमें मैं निर्णय ऐसा दूंगा कि इसके आगे ये तकलीफें नहीं होगी। हमारे उद्योजक हैं तो उनको तकलीफ ये जो है, दिक्कत जो है, वो दूर करना यही हमारे मिनिस्ट्री का काम है। तो प्रोडक्शन बढ़ने के लिए जो जो बात आवश्यक है वो बात हम आगे करेंगे, उसके लिए प्लान हम कर रहे हैं और जल्दी से हमारा प्लान घोषित हो जाएगा। और अगले 5 साल में हमारा देश इंडस्ट्री में कितनी ग्रोथ कर सकता है, उसके लिए लगने वाली सभी ताकत हम हमारे उद्योजक के पीछे खड़ी करेंगे। हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे यूथ, हम जो यूथ देश में है वो इंडस्ट्री की तरफ जाए। जब हम आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाना चाहते हैं कि हमारे यूथ ज्यादा से ज्यादा उद्योग, वो सूक्ष्म हो, मीडियम हो या लघु हो, कौन से भी उद्योग में आकर रोजगार निर्माण करे। रोजगार मांगने तो पढ़ाई होने के बाद यूथ इधर उधर भागते हैं, मगर रोजगार देने वाले यूथ को हम ज्यादा उनके मदद करना चाहते हैं कि उद्योजक बने, रोजगार दे, प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाए, उत्पादन देश का बढ़ाए और हमारा जीडीपी बढ़ जाएगा। और जीडीपी बढ़ने से भारत दुनिया में महासत्ता की दिशा में पंतप्रधान लेना चाहते हैं, लेके जाना चाहते हैं। वह भारत महासत्ता बनने के लिए इंडस्ट्री में एमएसएमई की ग्रोथ आवश्यक है, मस्ट है, ये हम जानते हैं और उसके हम कोशिश में लगे। आज मैं इसलिए भी आया, विविध क्षेत्र के एक्सपर्ट यहाँ हैं, आप लोग चाहे जब भी मैं आपको मिल सकता हूं, इंडस्ट्री के बारे में आपके जो विचार है हमारे तक पहुंचाए। किसी क्षेत्र की इंडस्ट्री हो, टेक्सटाइल हो, ऑटोमोबाइल्स हो, गारमेंट हो, एग्रीकल्चर हो, बाय प्रोडक्ट की हो, कौन सी भी इंडस्ट्री भारत में आनी चाहिए, बढ़नी चाहिए, इंपोर्ट कम होके हमारा एक्सपोर्ट बढ़े, इस तरह की टेक्नोलॉजी भी हम देश में लाने के लिए आप कुछ मार्गदर्शन करें। नई टेक्नोलॉजी आई तो लोगों हमारे एमएसएमई तक आप पहुंचाए, हम हमारे भारत के उद्योजक तक पहुंचाने की हम कोशिश जरूर करेंगे। हर स्टेट में, हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में टेक्नोलॉजी सेंटर जाना चाहिए, ऐसे मेरे विचार है और उसमें मैं काम में लगा हूं। ये साल हम 200 टेक्निकल सेंटर देना चाहते हैं। ट्रेनिंग सेंटर से हमारे यूथ को मार्गदर्शन मिले और वो उद्योजक बने और उत्पादन बढ़ाने की कोशिश करें और देश के उद्योजक बड़े पैमाने में निर्माण होने चाहिए। संख्या बढ़ने से नहीं तो अपनी क्वालिटी भी उस तरह की दुनिया के मार्केटिंग में इंडिया का माल, इंडिया का जो भी कुछ प्रोडक्शन है उसके लोगों की मांग होनी चाहिए। आज दुनिया में मार्केट में जैसा चाइना का नाम है, कहा भी कौन से भी मार्केट में आप जाइए तो चाइना का माल आपको दिखाई देता है। आगे भविष्य में 5 साल के बाद और कई साल के बाद हम चाहते हैं कि भारत का भी नाम हर फूड प्रोसेसिंग का भी हो, फूड क्षेत्र का हो, किसी भी क्षेत्र का प्रोडक्शन हो कि मार्केट में जाने के बाद लोग पहला पूछेंगे इंडियन प्रोडक्ट है आपके पास। और इस तरह का वातावरण बनाने की कोशिश में हम लगे हुए। मोदी साहब का हमारे इस डिपार्टमेंट पे काफी ध्यान है। अभी तक उन्होंने काफी इसके लिए अलग अलग योजनाएं उन्होंने तैयार किए। मैं 2-4 योजना का यह नाम लेता हूं, जैसे प्रधानमंत्री रोजगार सृजन कार्यक्रम पीएमईजीपी, प्रधानमंत्री मुद्रा योजना, इमरजेंसी क्रेडिट लाइन गारंटी स्कीम। इसके लिए मोदी साहब ने 5 लाख की प्रोविजन करके रखी है, 5 लाख की इस बजट। स्पेशल क्रेडिट लिंक्ड कैपिटल सब्सिडी स्कीम, माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल इंटरप्राइजेस क्लस्टर डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, स्फूर्ति क्लस्टर, क्रेडिट गारंटी ट्रस्ट फॉर द माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल इंटरप्राइजेस, scheme for the promotively innovation rural industry and agro processing। ये सब स्कीम उन्होंने 8 साल में घोषित कर चुके हैं। मैं मानता हूं ये सभी स्कीम अच्छी तरह से चले, लोगों को फायदा स्कीम का मिले और हमारा उद्योग बढ़े, और ये कोशिश में हमारा एमएसएमई डिपार्टमेंट चल रहा है। मैं आपके चैम्बर का शुक्रिया अदा कर रहा हूं बार बार, इसलिए कि आप लोग एमएसएमई का मार्गदर्शन और एमएसएमई का बढ़ोतरी हो जाए, प्रोग्रेस हो जाए, इसलिए आप लोग काम कर रहे हैं। आपके 200 स्टाफ है आपके पास, आपका ऑफिस इधर ही नजीकी है, मैं अभी कहा, और आपके सभी मेंबर एमएसएमई के हित में, एमएसएमई के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। हमारे लिए गर्व की बात है, ऐसा मैं समझता हूँ। इसलिए एज ए मंत्री के नाते, मिनिस्टर के नाते, आप लोग जो एमएसएमई के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, भविष्य में एमएसएमई को जो योगदान देंगे, वो योगदान से हमारी जिम्मेदारी है कि एमएसएमई, जो हम वो कहते हैं कि एमएसएमई भारत के अर्थव्यवस्था का मुख्य ये है, प्रमुख है। एमएसएमई के माध्यम से फाइनेंशियली ग्रोथ जो है, हमारे जीडीपी में 30% जो है वो एमएसएमई के माध्यम से है। तो इसमें आप लोग जो योगदान दे रहे हैं, इसके वजह से हम ये तरक्की कर चुके। आगे की तरक्की में इसी तरह का योगदान मैं अपेक्षित हूँ। आप लोग ने मुझे इनवाइट किया यहाँ, और इनवाइट करके आपने प्रॉमिस भी किया एमएसएमई को हम आगे फ्यूचर में मदद करेंगे, योगदान करेंगे, और भारत अर्थव्यवस्था में दुनिया की महासत्ता बनने के लिए आपका योगदान उपयुक्त है, मैं मानता आवश्यक है, ऐसा मैं समझता हूँ। इसलिए आपने ये चैम्बर महाराष्ट्र एमएसएमई सम्मेलन के नाम से आयोजित किया। मैं चाहता था कि यहाँ मराठी में बोलना चाहिए था, मगर मैं कहा कि आप लोग सब यहाँ देखा कि अलग अलग देश के अलग अलग राज्य से, अलग अलग भाग से आए हैं, सभी को मराठी कितनी समझते हैं मुझे मालूम नहीं। मैं मराठी कहता बोलता तो मैं इससे अच्छा आपको मेरे विचार आप तक पहुंचाना चाहता था और पहुंचा जा सकता था, मगर अगले टाइम जरूर मैं कोशिश करूँ मराठी बोलने की। मेरे ख्याल से आप में से या एक दो जन तो बोलने वाले, हमारे सूद साहब तो मराठी है, मराठी बोलते हैं, और उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि सिंधुदुर्ग डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो मेरा डिस्ट्रिक्ट है वो गांव गांव तक मैं नहीं पहुंचा मगर वो पहुंचे। ये आपके एसोसिएशन के मेंबर वो हर गांव तक पहुंचे, कितनी बड़ी बात। 730 गांव है हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, हम अभी तक नहीं पहुंचे। 35 साल वो वहां से मैं चुन के आता हूँ, मैं लोक प्रतिनिधि हूँ, पर मैं आप लोग का काम करने का तरीका, जो आप जिम्मेदारी लिए है, खुद करके लिए, वो किस तरह से आप काम करें, उसका एक अच्छा एग्जाम्पल मैं समझता हूँ। उनको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ, थैंक यू वेरी मच। और फ्यूचर में इसी तरह का योगदान आप दीजिए। आप लोग ने मुझे इनवाइट किया या आकर सम्मानित किया, मेरे इसलिए मैं आपके एसोसिएशन का बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र।
It is a privilege to have our minister. Sincerely, thank you. And now I'd like to request our chairman at ASSOCHAM, Maharashtra State Development Council, and chairman ATC Logistics, Shri Shantanu Bhatkamkar, to please present the memento to our honorable minister. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Your presence was very important, sir. Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful, beautiful ASSOCHAM Maharashtra MSME Sammelan. I request Mr. Bhatkamkar to please join us on the dais and have a few words. Thank you.
Namaskar and good afternoon. We had a scintillating speech, so I have to reciprocate in the same manner. दादा, मी आपल्या जिल्ह्यात दोडामार्गपासून वैभववाडी प्रत्येक तालुका आणि प्रत्येक गाव कव्हर केले, म्हणून आपल्याला हक्कानी दादा म्हणतो. दादा इज अ एल्डर ब्रदर. आपल्याला महाराष्ट्रासारख्या मोठ्या राज्याचा प्रशासकीय अनुभव आहे आणि आपण तो सक्षमतेने पाळलात. Rane Sahib has been the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, which is the second biggest state and the most industrialized state. Now that he is Minister of MSME, मैं अपेक्षा करता हूं कि ये मिनिस्ट्री सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में सबसे महत्वपूर्ण मिनिस्ट्री बन जाए. काफी बार बड़ी मिनिस्ट्री होती है, इसलिए लोग वो मिनिस्ट्री सक्षमता से हतालते हैं और वो बहुत अच्छा काम करते हैं. लेकिन कोई लोगों में ये काबिलियत होती है कि वो थोड़ी सी जो दुर्लक्षित मिनिस्ट्री होती है उसको बड़ा बनाते हैं. दादा, हमारी आपसे ये अपेक्षा है. हम छोटी अपेक्षा नहीं रखते, हम बड़ी अपेक्षा रखने वाले हैं. और अभी हम सारे लोगों ने कुछ मुद्दे मांडे हैं. वी हैव रेज्ड वेरियस पॉइंट्स. दिस इज नॉट एग्जैक्टली द टाइम दैट वी कैन स्पीक विथ हिम, बट वी विल टेक हिज टाइम. We will compile everything you have to compile throughout the day. आणि आम्ही प्रत्यक्षात आपल्याला भेटून सगळे मुद्दे मांडू. आणि तेवढंच नाही, आपल्याबरोबर त्याच्यावर पुन्हा एकदा फॉलोअपला येऊ. म्हणजे आपली जी पूर्ण यंत्रणा आहे, फक्त मंत्री नाही, पूर्ण आपली ब्युरोक्रेसी यंत्रणा ह्याच्याकरता काम करेल. त्यामुळे अ बिग राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज फॉर द ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर फॉर हिज कमिटमेंट. थँक्यू सर. It was pleasure having you here. I also take this opportunity to thank my fellow panelists. I would like to name them in person, but Honorable Minister has to leave early. I wish to thank the ASSOCHAM Secretariat and above all of you to be here on time in the morning. We hope we will have new future for MSME in India. Thank you. Thanks again.
All right, just to last, as a token of appreciation, we would like to present memento to everybody. So I request, one by one, we would be presenting the memento. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A token of appreciation for our Honorable Minister for being a part of this most charming morning. We have Shri Vinod Pandey, Shri Suhail Nathani, Shri Joyjit Gupta, Shri Sivasubramanian Raman, and Shri Shantanu Bhadkamkar. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, proceeding forward, I request Mr. Ashu Bajaj, our head SME Insurance Policy Bazaar, to have the special session on the dais, please. Thank you very much. A request for a group picture, definitely with the minister, yes.
Sir, this is your... Oh, my brother is investing in your company.
I request everybody to please take your seats. We have another session for Mr. Ashu Bajaj.
Good afternoon, everyone, all dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ashu Bajaj and I represent Policy Bazaar. I head the SME vertical at Policy Bazaar. And I would like to believe, I can confidently say that policybazaar.com is a household name today in India because over the last 12, 14 years, the organization has really solved the main core problems of distribution and discovery of personal insurance products. And with the agenda of making every citizen of India free of death, disease, and disability. Our endeavor now is to create the same experience for the SMEs in India, which, as Vinod Pandey sir also rightly said, is the backbone of the Indian economy. So over the next 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to just talk about the main challenges that the SME sector in India faces, and what are the innovative solutions that are happening world over and in India. So if I were to just list down the main challenges, I think we can broadly categorize it into 5 parts. The first one, of course, is perception. Be it, I think it applies to a lot of individuals also today that the insurance is perceived as a cost rather than as a benefit. For SME, it becomes more challenging because, as Nathani sir also said, that the biggest problem that any SME faces is the problem of the credit. So when cash flow is already a problem, looking at a premium as a cost is very natural. Second part is the awareness. So if the perception is right, the awareness is basically assessing the right amount of risk for the particular sector and the geography you are in. That is somewhere where people, kind of miss out on some very important points, and that leads to the mistrust. Because let's say आपने एक policy ले ली, but at the time of the incident, आपको वो appropriate claim payout नहीं मिला, तो आपका वो trust factor बहुत कम हो जाता है. So the trust that मेरा claim मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा is a very big roadblock today. The distribution, even in this digital age today, I would not say that we have reached at that level where we can say that the distribution and the real-time quotes and policy issuance still continues to be a challenge. And the customization. So we are very hopeful that in the next 10 to 15 years, we would have reached a place where every insurance product would be on a DIY platform, जहाँ पे आप अपने risk के हिसाब से, आप अपने sector के हिसाब से, अपने coverages को bundle कर सकते हैं and pay as you use. The pay as you use the method will actually crawl into insurance as well. A very quick snapshot of why, if we have to talk about all the challenges that we saw, and if we do that only in the perspective of Maharashtra, we would be basically addressing the problems faced by all the SMEs in India. Because Maharashtra, in the truest sense, represents the MSME landscape of India. So I'll just skip this because Nathani sir has already spoken a lot about this. I would like to very proudly begin with one of the major breakthroughs that Policy Bazaar has done in the space of group medical insurance for SMEs. So we all know that the penetration of SMEs, penetration of insurance in SMEs is very low right now. And one of the big impetus very recently was COVID, when the business continuity was interrupted for most of the SMEs, specifically in the manufacturing sector. But जब लॉकडाउन के बाद दोबारा बिजनेस स्टार्ट भी हुआ तो वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट challenges that the SMEs had to face was of the manpower, because they had lost a lot of the employees that they were working with. Some people had to go back to their hometowns, some people fell sick and were actually in a lot of mental and financial stress. So acknowledging that, and I would say that basis the data that we have collected over the last 10 years, the claims data and the deep-rooted linkages that we have with insurers, we have created a do-it-yourself 4-step platform for actually purchasing the group medical policy instantly. So the discovery of the plans, the bundling of the plans based on the number of employees you have, the male to female ratio, the age group, and then of course the comparison of the plans, and making an instant payment, and the cover starts there and then. Historically, there has been a lot of compliance around issuance of a group health insurance policy. बहुत documentation involved होता है, बहुत proofs आपको देने पड़ते हैं. ये सब अगर आज APIs के through गवर्नमेंट की जो हमारे रिपोजिटरीज हैं EPFO की और GST की और जो हमारे इंश्योरेंस से डीप लिंकेजेस हैं, so we have made it very easy. Now, post the insurance, the way group health insurance is actually unique and it's different from any other product is because it requires a lot of servicing through the year. In any organization, people join the organization, people exit the organization, and that's the natural progression. एक micro industry small बनती है, medium बनती है, तो वो one of the biggest assets for any SME today is the workforce that we have. And I believe that if there is one person employed in a SME, so the SME is actually responsible for the livelihood of 4 people. Because that particular person who's employed and the family members. So the group health plan also covers the family members of that particular individual so that the employee is always healthy, happy, and not in any kind of mental and financial stress. I would now like to talk about some of the very nice innovations that have been happening world over and in India also. So one of them is the parametric business insurance. This is something that has not been happening so far. आज होता क्या है कि इंश्योरेंस अगर आपने कोई लिया और आपका क्लेम मान लीजिए अगर कोई घटना घट गई तो आपको क्लेम के टाइम पे बहुत सारा डॉक्यूमेंटेशन और प्रूफ्स देने होते हैं, सर्वेज इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. नाउ द आइडिया ऑफ पैरामेट्रिक बिजनेस इंश्योरेंस इज दैट द claim amount is paid out at the time of the event itself. So one of the very good examples is what Tata AIG is doing in Nagaland right now. So Nagaland sometimes sees more rainfall than it expects. And that leads to damaging the crops. तो ये पैरामेट्रिक इंश्योरेंस होता है कि मान लीजिए एक पर्टिकुलर MM से ज़्यादा अगर रेनफॉल हो गया तो वो रेनफॉल होते ही ये पहले ही इंश्योरेंस कंपनी असेस कर लेती है कि क्रॉप को इतना डैमेज होने वाला है एंड द क्लेम इज पेड आउट इंस्टेंटली rather than making the farmers wait and doing a survey. Another thing that's very heartening to see is the latest circular that IRDAI has put out. And it's given all the insurance companies guidelines to develop products around surety bonds. Now in a surety bond, if I have to oversimplify it, there are 3 parties involved. एक insurance company है, एक customer है और एक contractor है. Now typically the insurance is bought by the end customer because the insurable's interest is hers. But in this case, the insurance company assesses the capabilities of the contractor and issues a surety bond to the contractor. I think this can be big when it comes to large government projects. Another thing which is very interesting, it's not happened in India yet, but it's very imminent, is the IoT-enabled claims dispersal. This is what Hitachi is actually doing in Korea and other Asian countries right now, that if there is any machinery loss of profit risk in any manufacturing sector, so if there's a machinery downtime, so that downtime is actually assessed and the information is shared with the insurance company. This is pretty much similar to the parametric insurance that I was talking about, and the exact claim amount is paid out. So you get exactly for what you pay, and the premium is also calculated accordingly. The next thing on the list is actually something called embedded cargo insurance. Given the coastline of Maharashtra and the ports that we have, any food product or perishable product that has been exported, always, there's a risk of the food getting perished because if the temperature is not right in the container. So that is something that Parcel, a US-based company, is actually doing in the US, that these containers actually, the refrigeration system in the containers, they contain sensors which are directly linked to the insurer systems, and any time that the temperature fluctuates, there is no compliance required around it कि आपका माल क्या लोड होने से पहले ही खराब हो चुका था या अच्छे कंडीशन में नहीं था. So it's all done through data and analytics. One last thing is about the connected fleet insurance. Today, it's a big challenge in India also because wherever there is a fleet insurance, the fleet inventory management and the insurance, they are never in sync. So the using vehicle telematics to monitor the vehicle usage. This is actually a very good example of a pay-as-you-use insurance product that I was talking about. And I see this happening in India very, very soon. So that was all from our side, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being such a lovely audience. Thank you, ASSOCHAM, for giving us this opportunity. And I really look forward to having a chat with all of you around and maybe learn the different kind of risks that probably you see in your trade and business. Thank you so much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was an interactive session, and we are towards the second session for today, and that's a thematic session. I'd like to request the co-chairman at ASSOCHAM, National Council on Business Felicitation and Global Competitiveness, and Group CEO, Shri P. Sudhir, to please be with us on the stage. May I request our Senior Director, M1 Exchange, Shri Vishal Kumar, on the stage, please. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, with more energy. We are towards the second session. May I request Shri Raminder Pal Singh, DGM, Canara Bank, to please be with us on the stage. Requesting Shri Vijay Dubey, CFO, Envoy Smart. Requesting Executive Vice President and Regional Product Sales Manager, Business Banking, Trade and FX, Yes Bank, Shri Bhavin Gajar, to be with us. Our Chairman at ASSOCHAM Maharashtra State Development Council and Founder, Farm to Fork, Shri Umesh Kamble, to please be with us on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, our Honorable Minister, Shri Uday Samant, will be with us in just some time. Till then, I request everybody to please be seated, and a huge round of applause once again towards the second session for everybody present on the stage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have time constraints, and I'd like to request our co-chairman at ASSOCHAM, that's Shri P. Sudhir, to please go ahead and start the second session.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate this opportunity to address this accomplished audience. The topic for this session is competitive advantages and competitiveness as far as MSMEs are concerned. To put into context, the MSME segment collectively is one of the largest economic drivers in India. It contributes significantly to the economic activity. It contributes significantly to exports. It contributes significantly to employment, innovation, and from an economic perspective, it is in many ways the driver of Indian economy. It is also very visible in terms of activity. It's present in every nook and corner of India. largely in urban, semi-urban, but also sometimes in the rural areas. To put into context, with reference to the competitiveness as far as MSMEs are concerned, MSMEs are not a monolith. It comprises different business segments across multiple industries, but there are certain themes which are common as far as competitiveness is concerned. The first one will be, I would say, with scalability. In terms of scalability, MSMEs in different categories, to be competitive, had to scale up. And what are the ecosystems that they have today to enable the scaling up? It's very limited, frankly. So industry has a big role to play in enabling the scale up. Examples are auto industry. You have seen the ecosystem that the auto industry has built with vendors. Many of these auto part manufacturers have become large players. They have withstood competition. They have become large enough that they are exporters and suppliers to MNCs in the auto industry. And they're doing pretty well. So the industry support has been very critical in enabling growth of the entire vendor ecosystem and small and medium industries. The other thing that helps scalability is government policies. And example is the current endeavor for Make in India, especially in the defense sector. It offers a big opportunity driven by government policy. So that is another factor. But these are the ecosystems that enable scalability to ensure that the MSMEs have that competitive edge. Without that, obviously, it's not possible. The second thing I would say is adaptability and ability to innovate. And for this, again, the ecosystem has to be developed in such a way that government policies help in accomplishing that. By adaptability, I also mean the way the industry can help, for example, the auto industry, the multiple other industries where the industry itself has helped the MSMEs to innovate, to improve their skills, to upgrade their technical capabilities, and be competitive as far as the ecosystem is concerned. The third thing I would say as far as MSMEs and competitiveness is concerned is their ability to get financing, short-term and long-term. Traditionally, the problem with MSMEs has been working capital as well as capital for growth, and it continues today. But the ecosystem has changed in the last 5 to 6 years drastically, especially in terms of working capital. We have today large number of fintechs deploying technology to help MSMEs, which a traditional lender could not. And we also see that the lenders are now changing, as some of the speakers from the finance industry are there in this session, I can see. They will be able to explain the innovative products, etc., which are geared towards MSMEs. It requires a different approach. It requires tech-enabled approach, which these fintech companies are today providing. And it looks like they are a step or two ahead, and they see this MSME ecosystem as a business opportunity, which is really important because those are the key drivers that will enable a support system to help the MSMEs, and which is what these fintechs are doing. But there is still a long way to go in enabling the MSMEs to access easily capital as well as working their short-term requirements as well as long-term requirements for growth. The last, or rather second last item would be tech enablement. Many of the MSMEs which are integrated into industry have in one way or the other improved their business systems. They have brought in automation. They have brought in business processes which are aligned to the industry they are working with. They have brought in process improvements, workflow improvements, that has brought in efficiencies. But a large segment of the MSMEs segment is, it doesn't have this opportunities or even access to these technologies. So competitiveness with respect to this particular area will really happen when that ecosystem develops, whereby easy access and at reasonable cost is available to the MSMEs to deploy process improvements, business improvements, workflow improvements, and automation, which can enable them to remain competitive in a situation where price competition is a fact of life. And plus, today's business cycles are changing very fast. Not just the business cycles, but the product cycles are even shorter. So the MSMEs have to adapt their systems and procedures in such a way with technology and process improvement tools so that they are able to adapt to these changes and evolve their products and solutions in such a way that they are able to easily get those products and solutions out into the market to their customers. So these are the challenges that they face. The last item I would say is government policies. Government policies have been a critical aspect in driving MSME, especially in the last few years. We saw that in the COVID era when a lot of incentives are provided to MSMEs to sustain them. But those are not enough. What we are looking at is long-term sustained policies that will help the MSME in terms of policies. Some policies have been brought in place which has really helped in the working capital. For example, the Act of 2006, where we have specific provisions prescribed which kind of detail out the credit period and penalties for not adhering to the credit period, etc. But the problem really lies in policy administration, and that is where a lot of improvements have to come. It's good to have the policies in place, but administration has also to keep pace with that. Various states have brought in various incentive packages, and these are all effective, but again, as I said, technology-enabled, data-based policy administration overview by the governments, local, state, and central government is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, the policies will never keep pace with the evolving economic situation and the needs of the MSME sector. So these are evolution, and again, technology plays an important part in this. We have the ecosystem today in many ways where GST, income tax, etc., large amounts of data are available. And examples are every month we get data on GST estimates, we get data on tax collections, which we never used to get earlier. And these are critical, important points which enable policymakers to evolve policies. These are important, critical matters which allow economists to assess and evolve and understand the economic situation. And similarly, if we have this ecosystem also for the MSMEs, who for most part are in the unorganized sector and therefore not part of the data collection process by itself, are integrated into it. This data will be very critical to develop policies quickly and evolving in line with the way the MSME ecosystem is evolving. So this is absolutely critical in terms of the government policies. And I will also like to appreciate that we have an eminent panel of speakers over here from the various industries, fintech, etc., the lending segment. And I'm sure that we'll have a very insightful session. And I'm also sure that we'll all, especially the industry and also the administrators, will have takeaways from this session which can be actionable and help in the growth of this MSME sector. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, taking this afternoon forward, may I please request our Senior Director M1 Exchange, Shri Vishal Kumar, to please be on the dais.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Okay, my name is Vishal Kumar and happy to talk to all of you who are some way or the other representative of this MSME sector. Everywhere, everyone is talking about it. Today, I'm definitely going to talk about M1 Exchange, but I have one message I want to bring and embed within your head. If you are really serious about MSME sector and not just talking about it, let's be a torchbearer of wherever, whatever solutions that we see around and disseminate to whosoever is needing it. So today, if you see certain solutions which may not be relevant to you, but later could be relevant to a lot of other people, could be your client, associations, members, so on and so forth, inform them about those solutions. With this message, I would like to start M1 Exchange. Today, MSMEs are facing this biggest challenge, and it is not sales, it is not marketing, it's not talent. It is the problem of credit to MSMEs. And number is whopping. $133 billion stuck in trade credits. What are we doing about it? We do talk about 30% of GDP contributed by MSMEs. My friend, this 30% is really the heart of Indian trade. Don't demean the value just by putting it 30%. It's the heart of Indian trade. And when it is the heart of the Indian trade, the real problem is trade credit. And how to resolve it? RBI identified this problem, and February 2020 came up with this beautiful video, and I want to run it for you. Only 59 seconds. Just bear with me, it's running. I need all your attention here.
जी, लास्ट ऑर्डर की पेमेंट अभी तक की. हेलो, हेलो, हेलो. नेटवर्क क्षेत्र से बाहर है. ऐसे चलता रहा तो मैं बिजनेस से बाहर हो जाऊंगी. इतनी परेशान क्यों लग रही है? एक बड़ा ऑर्डर आया है और पिछले डिलीवरी का पैसा कुछ महीनों से अटका पड़ा है.
तो जमाने के साथ चलना सीखना. ट्रेड्स में रजिस्टर कर.
ट्रेड्स? ये क्या है?
ट्रेड्स लघु उद्योगों को पेमेंट की परेशानी से बचाने के लिए बनाया गया है. माल सप्लाई करने के बाद खरीदार द्वारा स्वीकृत इनवॉइस को ट्रेड्स की वेबसाइट पर अपलोड कर दो. बैंक इनवॉइस का पेमेंट आपको तुरंत दे सकता है, पर बेचने वाला और खरीदने वाला सरकारी हो या प्राइवेट, दोनों ट्रेड्स पर रजिस्टर्ड होने चाहिए.
सॉरी, कॉल कट गया.
एक बात बताइए, आप ट्रेड्स पे रजिस्टर्ड हो?
हाँ, आप भी रजिस्टर कर लो.
जी, और इनवॉइस भी करती हूँ अपलोड, और अब से पेमेंट की नहीं लूंगी लोड.
आरबीआई कहता है, बनो जानकार, बढ़ाओ व्यापार.
Thank you so much, everyone. And this video is on behalf of me and my fellow colleague, Mr. Vijay Dubey. Guys, we understood credit issue. And let's understand what is grappling in the mind of an entrepreneur. It's this balance. This balance where he has to worry about his profitability and the credit. The more he sells, the more profit he earns. To sell more, he has to give more credit. So he is grappling with this challenge of balancing it. And to balance it right, we got TREADS. TREADS is a solution which is helping MSMEs find the right balance, and I'll explain that soon. Today in India, sorry guys, I have a habit of moving and there is no column I. But today in India, we have a requirement of $800 billion overall funding requirement just for MSMEs, a whopping amount. Only 160 billion fund requirement only for organized supply chain financing. And if I just talk about 160 billion organized supply chain financing coming from BBB plus rated corporates, M1 Exchange is contributing slowly but steadily. About a $4 billion already funded so far. And to make this happen, there is a dynamic technology that we are working with, a great message that we are bringing to all of you, through you, since so many years, and that's tackle trade credit. Our wonderful speaker in the last session very beautifully said, Mr. Joyjeet Gupta, he said, it's not the problem of we not knowing it, it's the problem of we not having the right amount, right credit. So let's grapple, let's resolve this. M1 Exchange is the first trades license platform. It came 5 years back. So far, we have an amazing network of 48 banks and financial institutions. Some of them are national and international banks as well. About 1 million MSMEs invoices are discounted so far. There are more than 1,000 corporates which are working with us, well respected by some of the marquee investors. And the journey is continuing. We provide the most competitive interest rates to all our wonderful, hardworking, talented MSMEs all across the country. The entire funding, which is bill discounting, you call it invoice financing, you call it trades, is non-recourse. It's unsecured. We see MSMEs running to banks, and because of inefficiency or insufficient collateral, they don't get what money they really want. This is quick, this is unsecured, this is non-recourse. Non-recourse, I'll explain in simple words. Even if the buyer is not paying to the bank, MSME sleeps peacefully because the banks are not going back to the MSME if there is no payment or delay in payment. The entire process is completely digital. M1 Exchange has brought in a robust legal process, digitized, through which the entire registration as well as the transaction are happening completely digital. And my friends, since the time I have started to talk, there is already a processing of 50 crore of bill already discounted in the last 5 minutes. That's the power M1 Exchange is bringing to all of us. We have wonderful network of banks trusting M1 Exchange for its technology and for its outreach. What we have got, every MSME walking to a bank's door gets higher interest rate. The power of network of banks has gotten us, if you really look at the bottom line, possibly you may see it, the bottom red line is the repo rate. Every time repo rate increased, there was a stability of interest rate at M1 Exchange. Every time repo rate was stable, there was a continuous reduction in the interest rate at M1 Exchange. This is all being brought only because of the power of network of banks. M1 Exchange is a neutral bank platform. That is again a power that we are bringing in. We have already reached almost 900 plus cities all across the country. 69% of MSMEs are coming from Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. And importantly, we sometimes only focus on medium enterprises. That's not the reality. Majority of them are small and micro enterprises. Right now, I need next 2 minutes special attention. All of you standing behind those hall, I request all of you next 2 minutes special attention. So far we have understood trades trades is nothing but a transaction being discounted or financed between a large corporate and a MSME. India today is going through a complete change. RBI, a month back, has licensed M1 Exchange to do first thing in India, that's MSME to MSME invoice financing. And I'm bringing it to all of you. Please take this message to wherever you can. Be my partner in this. And that's, today we see trades as a transaction happening between a large corporate, PSU, government enterprises, and a MSME. We are seeing the future now. TREADS 2 is a new window which has been approved, licensed by RBI to M1 Exchange. And through this, I told you, the heart of the trade of India is all set and ready to get funded and financed through the network of banks. Take this message to wherever you can bring to that if you really want to help MSMEs all across the country. This is being enabled. I know, MSME to MSME financing, bank says it's risky. We are bringing this risk and mitigating it in the right way. Created an amazing data analytics and credit risk engine. This engine is basically making sure that the transaction is authenticated right, there is an ability to pay, and the psychology of payment of every business owner is captured right with transactions of buying, selling, bank statement transactions, how they are happening, what's the behavior, and this behavior is beyond CIBIL score. This behavior is really how you breathe, and through the real pulse that we are capturing through this credit risk, banks are appreciating to finance this unsecured MSME to MSME lending at M1 Exchange. I'm happy to announce that if we go, any unsecured financing cost about 15 to 18 to 20%. Through this mechanism, the MSME financing is happening at 10+%. It's in the range of 10 to 15% maximum. First time in India. And that has been enabled through the efforts of Reserve Bank of India, Union Ministry, Trades Association, M1 Exchange, and all of you wonderful esteemed people working either for MSME sector or as an entrepreneur. With this, thank you so much. Have a wonderful time ahead. Really appreciate it. Jai Hind.
That was a wonderful speech. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, proceeding with this afternoon session, I'd like to invite CFO Invoice Smart, Shri Vijay Dubey ji on the stage, please.
Good afternoon, all. Thanks, Vishal, for setting the tone. Dignitaries on dais, ladies and gentlemen, attending this Maharashtra MSME Sammelan, I welcome to all of you. I would say that, first of all, I would like to thank ASSOCHAM for inviting us on speaking this topic, which is more close to my heart, of addressing MSME finance gap through innovative technology models. And I would say that trades is one of the answer to that. Okay. In terms of, if you look at the MSME, so India is growing, and we boast about the fact that India is the 5th largest economy in the world. And we have a very vibrant landscape. MSME lies at the center of this landscape. And MSME landscape is very dynamic and every MSME is different. But the challenges which this MSME face are very common. So I would like to speak some challenges and what has happened in last 5 to 6 years, how they has been addressed. So one of the challenge which MSME face is in terms of accessibility issue, in terms of market linkages, lack of infrastructure, then absolute processes, and managerial competencies. I would say that in last 5 to 6 years, there has been very innovative models which has come across, and there has been substantial work around that. So let's take the example of a GEM, Government E-Marketplace, which is addressing market linkages problems for the MSME. Then we have India Stack, which is the largest public digital infrastructure, which is trying to address a problem of paperless or cashless delivery. And there has been so many organizations coming up with the CFO services or more of a regulatory filing kind of services, which are addressing the managerial competencies issues which MSME face. At the center of this stage, at the center of this problem or growth constraints, I would say that it lies inadequate finance. And TREADS is one of the answers to that. I would say that the concept of TREADS, since TREADS, Vishal has shown us the video, what is all about, I will just like to take some history about the TREADS evolution. So TREADS concept evolved somewhere around in 2013, when then RBI governor, in one of his speeches mentioned that there is a need of having of online factoring exchanges in India. So that was the time when the birth of a TREADS happened. The regulation around that followed in 2014, and in 2015, in principle approval was granted by RBI to entities to set up a trade exchanges. And by 2017, a formal licensing and trade exchanges opened up for the participants. So TREADS have, so the concept of TREADS is to address the delayed payment and limited access of the limited access which MSME face in terms of financing. And I would say that so MSME, so how it works basically, so what is the TREADS? TREADS is nothing but basically a fintech platform which connect MSME sellers and its buyer. Its buyer may be corporates, CPSC, PSUs, to the large pool of financiers. I come from Invoice Smart. We have almost 50 financials registered on platform. So how does TREADS work? TREADS works basically if an MSME supply goods and services to a buyer, he raises the invoices. Once that transaction is done, a post invoicing, he will come on a TREADS, he will upload that invoice on our platform, it will land into buyer's queue, that will be accepted by the buyer. After that, it goes in a bidding queue to the large pool of financiers. And depending depending on what bid or what terms is suiting MSME, so MSME will take a call and will finalize the bid which is favorable to them. From the date when the bid is accepted, within 24 hours or on T+1 basis, the funds get disbursed to the MSME. So if you look at the TREADS as an answer, it is addressing a problem of accessibility, which MSME used to face, because through TREADS platform, they get an access to the large pool of financiers on a single platform. That's the one. Be it in terms of cost of finance, which MSMEs get. So given recourse is on a buyer, it is being buyer's balance sheet, which is being looked to assess the credit, it is being looked to price the transaction. So MSME, with this, MSME also gets more and more more affordable rates, which is more competitive in nature. And on this platform, so there are no collaterals which they have to give, and as I said, the process itself is very stream, because on a T+1 basis, the disbursal happens. So that's really adds on to MSME. MSME's problem statements which they have been facing in terms of growth constraints. Lastly, I would like to cover on about Invoice Mart. So I come from Invoice Mart. We already have 1,150 plus corporates registered on our platform, almost 15,000 MSMEs which are registered on the platform. We are the largest platform in country. When I said largest platform in terms of throughput, which had transacted on the platform is almost 37,500 crores, which has happened. The volumes of the invoices which has gone through is almost 12,500, which has gone through 12.5 lakhs millions has gone through. And lastly, I would say that we operate, our operations are based out in Mumbai, and we have touched 650 plus cities and almost 2,500 plus pin codes in terms of servicing MSME. So that's what fintech can do in terms of improving the lives of MSMEs. On that note, I would say that we as Invoice Smart is on a mission of improving the lives of MSME. We want to continue this journey, and we look forward more and more corporates coming on our platform and more MSMEs being registered on our platform, and we continue our objective of touching the lives of the MSMEs. So on that note, I will conclude, and I will end my session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, proceeding forward, I'd like to invite Executive Vice President and Regional Product Sales Manager, Business Banking, Trade and FX, Yes Bank, Shri Bhavan Gajar on the dais, please. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, little energy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ashcom. Thanks all the participants for making this such a great event, and I'm highly honored to be here and speaking about Yes Bank's offering for the MSME. So I won't take a lot of time. I'll try and keep it short because anyways it's lunch time and I'm sure everyone is hungry. So I'll talk about the working capital and trade finance offerings that we have. So all the product suite that is available right from the typical fund-based facilities like your CCOD, working capital demand loans, even your long-term requirements like term loans in INR as well as term loans in foreign currencies. We offer foreign currency term loans typically to customers who have a natural hedge. So an exporter could be a goods exporter or it could also be a services exporter. Your typical export financing products like pre-shipment and post-shipment. So pre-shipment could be in INR or could be in FCY. And your typical non-fund based products which are LC, bank guarantees, buyer's credit, etc. So we've just tried and broken it up into different categories of product solutions that are available. So I'll just put emphasis on one of the last right bottom corner topic, which is factoring. Last two speakers gave a lot of input on factoring, how trade receivables are today getting discounted at invoice levels. And I'm sure they were talking a lot of domestic transaction years. So we have tied up with a lot of companies which are offering the same facility for export as well. So we've seen a lot of customers who want to grow in exports, especially the MSME, but they do not have enough collateral or do not have enough cash which they can use as collateral to ensure that their export is funded. And to ensure that this gap is covered, a non-recourse product similar to what was discussed by Vishal is our offering. So we give you this product which is non-recourse without collateral, where almost 80% is funded from our end along with our partners, which is completely collateral free. So export finance products, as most of y'all in the EXIM business would be aware, the pre-shipment basically means right from the day that you get an order to procuring the material, all the manpower costs, everything that gets involved can be funded at transaction level, and the total permissible limit number of days from RBI is 360 days. Then on the post-shipment is that once you are ready with your goods and it's ready to be shipped, so once your shipping document is available, the next phase of it is post-shipment. So we offer this product suite. And as mentioned by a lot of us, and as we are aware that the government is pushing MSME to ensure that the export book of India grows. So how are they supporting it from the finance part? So there is an interest equalization scheme which any MSME manufacturer can avail, and some traders also can avail the same, but that is limited to few of the HSN codes. So HSN codes basically defines what product you are exporting. So if you are a trader and not a manufacturer, then this subvention scheme is limited to few products. And the subvention is like 3% for a manufacturer and 2% for a trader. So how does it work in a practical scenario? For example, today your interest rate for any INR loan is say in the range of 8 to 9%. Just for example, let's say it is 8%. So if you are availing an INR loan at 8%, but if you are an exporter and a manufacturer and you avail export finance from the bank, so you will be getting 8 minus 3, which is 5%, and this will be passed to you upfront on the day that you are availing the loan. So right from the day that you avail the loan, you will be charged at a 5% rate. Some of our other product suites, as I earlier mentioned, are like LC, buyer's credit, supplier's credit. So what these typical products are for an importer. So how does it work? Once the shipment of your good is done by the seller and you wish to avail a financing on it which is in foreign currency. Why would you want in foreign currency? Because it is much cheaper as compared to INR. That is when we can give you non-fund products which are buyer's credit that are backed by SBLC of the bank. Apart from this, which is quite common in the industry, we also have a product which we call as loan against import, which is a fund-based product where we at Ace Bank use our own fund and we can give it for even advance payments, but on a very selective basis. So most of the import financing that is available in the industry is restricted to financing only post the shipment of the goods is done by the supplier. Here we can finance your advance portion as well, but on selective basis depending on your vintage in the business and what product are we looking at and what country are we importing from. So again, one more scheme from the government and to boost the export is a gold card scheme. Here the government of the RBI says that any exporter can be given a 20% ad hoc limit of his SS limit. So for example, if your SS limit is say 5 crores, you are eligible for an additional 20% as an ad hoc which is valid for 3 years. So the minute you exhaust your approved limit, which is 5 crore as I give you an example, and additional 20% can be sanctioned to you depending on your performance, and you can use it for the unprecedented orders. So if there is an opportunity which comes up, and at times people miss out just because they are not able to finance it, so you won't be missing on those opportunities that come up abruptly or unplanned. So factoring I already touched based on that it is a non-recourse. We can finance up to 80% and even if the buyer doesn't pay, you don't run any risk. So I'll now talk about the strength of Yes Bank and the business dynamics at SME level. So we are present across geographies, a lot of strength in Maharashtra and North region. And the emphasis that we are doing in and the product offering that we have is that all that I spoke about is available digitally. So you need not go to any physical branch to get your transactions processed. So even so if you want to avail an export loan, even if you want to issue an LC, if you want to issue a BG, everything can be done online, just sitting at your laptop or desktop. And we are proud to say that a lot of our customers took great advantage of this digital offerings that we have, especially during the COVID times that we were aware it was really difficult to move from one place to other and to submit physical documents. Some of the, apart from the factoring, some of the surrogate programs that we call is that non-collateral backed offering that we have on the lending portion are like backed by your 12 months bank statement where we can fund up to 1.5 crores. We also have something which is backed by your GST returns. Here we can go up to 1 CR. And there is a product that we call Smart Edge where we take your 12-month bank statement and GST returns, and depending on your financials and your turnover, the top line number, we can offer anything up to 5 CR. But in this case, there would be a current asset charge if the lending is above 2 CR. So thank you. I hope this will be helpful to take the MSME to the next level. Thank you, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, proceeding forward, I request our chairman at Association Maharashtra State Development Council and founder, Farm to Folk, Shri Umesh Kamble, to please be on the dais and have a few words. All right. So, Mr. Kamble, I think we'll have you at the vote of thanks. But now I'd like to invite Raminder Pal Singh from the DGM of Canara Bank. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Very good afternoon. I'm really coming in your way of lunch and this session, so I'd like to make it brief. The contribution of MSME is immense to this country. There are about 63 million registered MSMEs. And I'll talk about Canara Bank. Very brief. Canara Bank is one of the largest banks with more than 116 years of this establishment. And we have this total funding to the MSME was 119 lakh crores. 1.19 lakh crores, sorry, 119,000 crores, which we had last year, and within growth of 10%. And amongst this various schemes, we have an array of schemes for MSME, and amongst them was this most notable wing is SME cap, and this which has a very competitive rate of interest, and what I call is GST scheme, where this we only look at the GST statements and fund the this projects. And that's and apart from that, our marketing team is here, who could see we are happy to help, happy to assist, and happy to fund. Thank you very much.
I request Shri Umesh Kamble ji to please join us for the vote of thanks and mementos.
Good afternoon. I am coming in the lunch in between that. I just conclude कि भी एमएसएमई का कॉम्पिटेटिव एंड ग्लोबल कॉम्पिटिटेंस अगर हमें अचीव करना है तो हम साथ में, मतलब हमें किसी एमएसएमई को अकेले नहीं ग्लोबली जाना है, सभी को साथ में जाना है। तो इसलिए हमें एक इकोसिस्टम की ज़रूरत है, जो कि इकोसिस्टम गवर्नमेंट दे रही है, बैंक्स दे रहे हैं, इवन काफ़ी एसोसिएशन जैसे एसोचैम जैसी एसोसिएशन हो या और भी कोई एसोसिएशन के साथ आप जुड़ के आप इसको आगे बढ़ सकते हो। क्योंकि बिजनेस एमएसएमई के लिए चैलेंजेस रहता है कि भी उसको लगता है कि भी मैं अकेले ही बिजनेस कर रहा हूँ, और उसको चैलेंजेस काफ़ी रहते हैं। और कभी भी आप देखिए, आपको जितने चैलेंजेस रहेंगे उतने चैलेंजेस को हैंडल करने के लिए आपको सपोर्ट की ज़रूरत रहती है, और वो सपोर्ट जो है वो आपको इकोसिस्टम से ही मिल सकता है। और ये इकोसिस्टम मिलने के लिए हमें आपको सभी के साथ में कंपटीशन की जगह कॉम्पीट करना जरूरी, कॉम्प्लीमेंट करना ज़रूरी है। आप एक दूसरे को कॉम्प्लीमेंट जैसे जैसे करोगे वैसे वैसे आप देखोगे कि भी आप भी ग्रो हो रहे हो और आपके साथ में जो एमएस लोग हैं वो भी ग्रो हो रहे हैं। तो हमें अगर ग्लोबली कॉम्पीट करना है तो हमें एक दूसरे के साथ कॉम्प्लीमेंट करना ज़रूरी है। इतना मैं बोल के ये करूँगा। सेकेंड थिंग, वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए बेसिकली स्पेशली मिनिस्टर साहब आ नहीं पाए। मिनिस्टर साहब आने वाले थे, बट समहाउ उनका चीफ सीएम के साथ एक मीटिंग आने के कारण वो आ नहीं पाए। तो उन्होंने अपोलाइज भी किया है कि भी मैं आ नहीं पाया, बट डेफिनेटली ही एश्योर दैट कि नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम जब हमारा रहेगा या स्पेशली हम वो प्रोग्राम उनके साथ लेंगे। मैं थैंक्स करना चाहूँगा सुधीर जी, हमारे एसोचैम के जो नेशनल काउंसिल बिजनेस फैसिलिटेशन एंड ग्लोबल कॉम्पिटेंस के ये है, विशाल जी, रविंदर पाल सिंह जी, देन विजय दुबे जी, देन भावेन जी एंड भावेन जी एंड अनुराग जी। थैंक यू।
I request Mr. Umesh Kamble ji to please present the token of appreciation to each and everybody by gifting partner the Ayurveda company one by one to everyone, sir. Starting with Shri P. Sudhir, sir. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to take a lunch break in the next few minutes. Till then, let's clap for them. The next one, Mr. Kamble, presenting Shri Vishal Kumar. The next one to Mr. Raminder Pal Singh. The next one to Shri Vijay Dubey. we have Shri Bhavan Gajar. Thank you very much, the Ayurveda company. And thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this beautiful, beautiful thematic session. Ladies and gentlemen, proceeding forward, we have another session which is going to be for 15 minutes and then we take a lunch break. So I'd like to now invite Shri Milind Mungale, the Managing Director and CEO, Protein Infosec Services Limited. Also joining Anish Upadhyay, VP, Protein Ego Technologies Limited. But before that, we'll click a picture with all of you. So let's take a picture and proceed with the second session.
Which one is this? Phone. Well, I request everybody to please take your seats. We have a fireside chat for cloud computing and cyber security. I request everybody to please be seated for this last session before the lunch break. And once again, I'd like to invite Shri Milind Mongale and Anish Upadhyay on the stage with a huge, huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for them.
A very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Milind Mungle, and I have with me my colleague Anish. We are here to tell you a bit about cybersecurity and cloud and how it really is important for MSME to look at it seriously now. First, let me start by thanking all of you who have still been seated in your place, even though we are standing in between you and your lunch. But we'll try to make it interesting, we'll try to make it short, and we'll give it very clear pointers which can help you. Of course, you can get in touch with us anytime you wish, and we'll be very happy to educate you more on this subject. It is our passion, and we would do it because of our interest into it. So first, let me start by talking about the cloud. All of you know by now definitely what is cloud. We hear about cloud, we hear about dark cloud, we hear about cloud burst, but that is all related to the clouds which are related to rainy season. We are not here to talk about those kind of clouds. We are here to talk about the clouds which are going to help you grow in whatever you are doing. We are going to talk about the cloud which is an essential thing for any small or medium-sized enterprise to fast-pace their growth. So let me just start by asking Anish a couple of questions with regards to cloud. So Anish, tell our audience how cloud is going to help them grow in whatever they are doing.
Absolutely. Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually looking at enabling the MSME segment, and it is also in line with the Government of India's Atmanirbhar initiative and making India manufacturing competitive. So one of the things when we launched our cloud services, and which is actually very useful for MSMEs, is to make them competitive, to align with the global value chain. Now, if you're okay, I'll also speak in Hindi. So, सरकार चाहती है, and हम लोग भी चाहते हैं कि India becomes a, a $5 trillion, $10 trillion economy where MSMEs will be the main enablers of that economy. The manufacturing sector across the world is shifting, and we need to align with our global values supply chains. Now, how do we enable the MSMEs? Is by upgradation of technology, one of which is moving away from spending money on infrastructure, and cloud is actually one of the best options for MSMEs to quickly upgrade and catch up with the rest of the world. The world is changing. We need to change with it, and it enables MSMEs and almost everyone to align with the global technology and supply chain. So I think that's one of the most important features.
Yeah, so that is an interesting point. Ultimately, what MSMEs want to do, grow their business. And if they have to grow their business, they have to focus completely on their business and not the supporting infrastructure. You don't want to bother about whether your mail is working. You don't want to worry about whether your transaction will go through. You want someone else to do that for you so that you can focus on your business. और उसी के लिए ये cloud infrastructure बहुत काम आता है. That is the reason why cloud infrastructure will be very, very useful to you, because you are completely spared of all the botherations and given a guarantee that your digital infrastructure support will continue 24/7 at the quality and capacity that you want. Imagine a situation that you want certain orders to be processed, but your infrastructure is not working and your IT person is not there. Imagine a situation where you have an IT person, but everything is working fine and you have no work for him, you are paying him for nothing. So why take such kind of a burden on you? Instead, you can rely on someone who's providing the services ready-made to you, and that is where the cloud comes into the picture. But when we talk about such kind of services, of course, one thing that we are worried about is the security of these services. Your critical data, your customer data, your business data would all be somewhere beyond your sight. And how do you protect that? And because you have to operate it when that is lying on the cloud, obviously it will have to be connected on internet. वो बोलते हैं ना कि अपने डेटा को बचाना हो तो कंप्यूटर को बंद कर दो, एक सेफ के अंदर डालो और समंदर में फेंक दो. उसके अंदर जो भी डेटा है वो बचा रहेगा for centuries. But what is the use of such data which you cannot use when you want it? And that is the reason why you have to have a data on the computer which is running. You want that data to be accessible by only those whom you want to authorize it. And that is where the cybersecurity concept comes into the place. Cybersecurity is not snap of the finger. Cybersecurity is a well thought of framework and process. And I am sure you want to focus on your business. You don't want to go and learn cybersecurity unless you want to start your own business in cybersecurity. So that is basically how the cloud and cybersecurity go forward. So let us understand from Anish a bit more about the cloud. So if an MSME decides that he wants to adopt cloud, what is it that he should do?
One of the biggest features, और हमारी सरकार भी कर रही है, सरकार की एक स्कीम है डिजिटल MSME, where they subsidize the cost of moving to cloud. So आप लोग अपना हार्डवेयर ना खरीदें. We will provide all this through our cloud services, and what it means is the cost, आपका जो खर्चा है और स्टार्टिंग में कंप्यूट ये सब जितने भी आपको पावर चाहिए फॉर मूविंग योर डेटा टू द क्लाउड, वो सब सरकार सब्सिडाइज करती है. So which is actually a good way. Why is the government doing it? It's doing it because it wants the MSMEs to become competitive, to grow in the global value chain and make India a manufacturing hub. And उससे बड़ी बात है कि most of the MSMEs are also suppliers and OEMs to the bigger guys. So अब जितनी बड़ी companies हैं, they are all on cloud, they are all technology driven. So it is better to move with them, to integrate with their value chain, supply chain, and increase our manufacturing strength. And of course, this gives you, most important, a growth path, a revenue increase, way of increasing your revenues, because आपका market बड़ा हो जाएगा, because you'll be competing online. आप कहीं भी हैं. Let's say you're in America selling to a customer, और वो customer बोलता है मेरे को ये data चाहिए, आपका कर सकते हैं. You just किसी को phone करने की जरूरत नहीं. You've got the access, आपने mobile on किया, access your own data, and you've got it in front of the customer. So this is how we need to move our total infrastructure to the cloud. It saves you cost. It gives you revenue options, new revenue options. I think.
Good, Anish. I think I'm sure many of you must have got it. But when he says save your cost, what is the most important thing? What is the cost? I am going to draw a parallel. You enter into a supermarket with an intention to buying handful of things. You buy 10 products. You come to the payment counter and that guy says, for you to carry these products, you need to buy a bag of 10 rupees. You did not carry a bag from your home, assuming that a superstore where you are spending a couple of thousand rupees will give you a bag. But the guy says, for this you have to buy a bag of 10 rupees. 10 rupees doesn't hurt. What hurts is the hidden cost of buying products in that particular store. Cloud has the same problem. When someone tells you they will provide you with cloud services, they tell you certain cost. You assume it is a very good cost for you and you sign up. But after that, they come and tell you, if you want this service over and above what you are doing, which is essential for you, you have to pay more. And that is the hidden cost. First and foremost thing you should always remember is you should have transparency and predictability in what you are asking for, what you are getting, and how much are you going to pay for it. And that's very important when it comes to migrating to the cloud. Technical subject, migration process, system, everything is secondary. What is more important is how much is it going to pinch your bottom line for you to migrate on the cloud. And that's exactly what you should keep in mind as your second tip to migrate to the cloud. When it comes to talking about cloud, you are hosting somewhere else. Just imagine a situation, your son or daughter is going to study somewhere else, so you rent a house in that city for them to stay. A good house is good enough. When your son or daughter is going to stay alone over there, you will also look whether the surrounding is okay. You will also look whether the security of that campus is okay. You will make sure that that particular area is safe. That's exactly what happens when it comes to cloud. You also need to see, you may be getting cloud at a very good price, but whether they have good security practices, whether they can keep your data and your business information safe from the world who is all out there to attack it. So from cybersecurity point of view, it's not just signing up the cloud, but also it is necessary to have a proper security system in the cloud. A good cloud doesn't mean just the infrastructure and compute capacity. It also means it is secured. And with that, I think we'll come towards our last question, because again, I don't want to be in between you and your lunch for a very long time. Anish, can Protean help them in all these challenges?
Absolutely. So Protean has been protecting and delivering population scale services. So your Aadhaar, your PAN, your eKYC, all has been run by Protean for last 25 plus years. So we thought, okay, we've got the expertise. We have been delivering population scale services. We've been working with the government. We've been enabling different startups and MSME segments. Why not extend this expertise and deliver these services to our industry in a transparent and predictable manner? So we thought, okay, and we launched a Protean Cloud, which is an extension of our data center services and population. So for example, we have just completed 40 crore PAN authentication, PAN cards. So that means we have protected all that. So we brought, okay, so we'll bring it to the cloud. And with Milind, who's been a pioneer in this industry, in the information security industry, he's our Chief Information Security Officer as well. So we thought, let's bring it together, let's marry this and launch something which is very specific to the MSME segment. So the reason we are here is that we thought we will be able to enable the MSME segment to become competitive. And our cloud provides that predictability. हमें पता होना चाहिए कि हम जो पैसा हमने जो sign किया है, we are going to be paying that only, not something like a seat selection charge later on when we board an aeroplane. We don't want that to happen because we need predictability. So our cloud enables that framework for MSMEs wherein they can access with prediction. They know if you're paying 10 rupees, we'll only be paying 10 rupees for the next, for the contract period. So I think that should...
So yeah, Anish, well said. I'd like to bring on a particular, perspective over here. I have been with this company for 26 years. Yesterday I completed 26 years in this company, and Anish has been with this company for 26 weeks. Yeah. So you have the latest entrant of the company and the oldest entrant of the company talking about this company with equal pride. So it is not how much time you spend with the company, it is how much you understand this company. Protean, earlier known as NSDL e-governance, has been handling your personal data. Have you ever heard our name in any media or newsletter which says NSDL was breached of personal data? Even very popular brands where you transact every day, I don't want to name any one of them here, have hit the headline once in a while in last 5 years saying that there is a possibility that if you have transacted, your data is breached. We handle the information of more than 4 crore subscribers' pension account. We have issued more than 40 crore PANs in last 15 years, and we have information of all of them, which we provide as an online PAN verification system to many BFSI, small or big organizations. We are providing e-sign services through Aadhaar KYC, and that Aadhaar KYC, Aadhaar data is handled by us. And apart from that, we are providing eKYC data to many people. So we have been able to manage our infrastructure and we have been able to manage the security of this information. And from the same data center, we are going to provide the cloud services to you. So you can imagine the kind of security which we are building around your cloud services. And that's basically, I would like to leave it to you. We have been connected by various SMEs and they requested us that if you're doing so many things, why can't you give us the entire office? Not in physical sense, in digital sense. They said, look, I have to look at my accounting practice, I have to look at my HR practice, I have to look at so many other practices integrated with e-sign, digital signature. Why can't you provide us that too? First of all, we were taken aback because ours is a very niche area of service. But when we observed that many people have been requesting that to us, we have also started our initiative in that. And hopefully in next couple of months, you will hear about that too. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for being here, even though we were between you and your lunch. I am really grateful to you all.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. I request you to please be with us, sir. I request Ms. Pooja Aluwalia, our Assistant Secretary General, to please be with us on the stage and present a memento, a token of appreciation. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Mungale and Mr. Upadhyay. Gifting partner by the Ayurveda company. Once again, a huge round of applause. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we come towards the end of the first session, and we will see you guys after the lunch break at 2 o'clock sharp at the same place. So 2:30 is the time that we come back. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys after lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure talking. Pleasure having you here. Thank you.